This is Melvin York with Gardening with Daddy Pete. Today, I would like to speak to everyone on fertilization for your plants, the different types of fertilization. What does it mean? What do you need to use? Misconceptions is out there on that when you buy a ready-made organic mix that, especially a compost-based one, that all the nutrients and your essential miners are in that mix. Plants are different, and we'll talk just to hit on just a little bit of what a heavy nitrogen feeder or one that's not so heavy is, and that the compost may provide enough nitrogen for that. Basic organic fertilizer and commercial fertilizer, you'll look for the symbols on the bag, which is NPK, and it stands for, that is the three major elements that plants need. Not that they don't also need the miners, they do too, but these are the major ones, and these are the ones that we discuss a lot, pay a lot of attention to. NPK, what does that stand for? Your N stands for nitrogen, your P is phosphorus, and your K is for potash or potassium. Now, just to give you an overview, when you buy a let's just say that you're going to use a commercial fertilizer. You go to the store and you see a bag there that says 10, 10, 10 on that bag. You can see different ones. There'll be 14, 14, 14, or 19, 19, 19. There's everything from 2, 12, 12 to whatever. But let me explain to you what the 10, 10, 10 is in that 50-pound bag of fertilizer, commercial fertilizer that you're buying. That means that 10% of that 50-pound bag is nitrogen. 10% of it is phosphorus, and 10% is either the potash or potassium. So what's the other 70% that you've just bought and paid for? Usually it's either lime or some type of ground shale or rock. So actually, only in a bag of 10, 10, 10, there's only 30% nutrients for your plant. All right, let's take that a step farther. Now, what if you bought 19, 19, 19 in that bag? Okay, so then in that 50-pound bag, you're going to have 19% nitrogen, 19% phosphorus, and 19% potassium or potash. Now, instead of having 30%, you now have 57% of the nutrients in that bag, which means that you can use a little less around your plants of this fertilizer compared to the 10, 10, 10 fertilizer. And price shopping, that's you have to kind of compare and see where you get the most bang for your buck. Now, that's commercial fertilizer. Let's talk a little bit about organic fertilizers. Organic fertilizers are just what it says it is. It's organic. They have not been made in or synthesized synthetic as some of the commercial fertilizers. Not all commercial fertilizers are synthetic, but you'll know the difference when you see the price. Ones that's not synthetic is very, very expensive. But let's just take for granted, usually the thing that we're after most in organic fertilizer is usually nitrogen, and it's because of the different types that we use in our composted, our raised bed mixes, where we grow and control our crops different. One of the highest nitrogen feeders in vegetables is corn. Corn requires anywhere from 250 up to 300 parts of nitrogen to grow it out in the plant and the ears. Another big high nitrogen feeders, green beans, cabbage is a high nitrogen feeder. Believe it or not, peppers are one. And you can go on and look at the list down. You can look those up easy enough. All right, and let me just give you some of the things. It's just a few of them. You need to kind of go through and look yourself and kind of let you know. If we're going to stay totally organic, feather meal has always been my choice for nitrogen, and that's usually a 12 part, a 12-0-0. So when you're buying feather meal, you're not buying any phosphorus, you're not buying any potassium, you're buying nitrogen. Feather meal in the organic form that it is will last and feed 3 to 6 months. That's pretty impressive. Now, we can go again. Fish meal is on the market. Again, you can buy an organic fish meal. Now, the NPK on it is totally different. It is 9% nitrogen, but it does have 4% phosphorus and 1% of potassium. 3 to 4 months is the last on that. Bat guano, high in nitrogen, but it's also got a pretty impressive PK on it. So NPK on a bat guano is 10-6-2, 10 nitrogen, 6 phosphorus, and 2 on the potassium, 2 to 8 months, depending on the bat guano. Blood meal, there's another one. Be careful with blood meal. You can attract animals that you don't want to attract by using it. This is one that I don't recommend that much in raised beds for that reason. But it is like feather meal, it is a 1300, so you get 13 parts of nitrogen in it. Just to give you an example on some of the fertilizers that's out there. Of course, there's totally some more worm castings. You only get a 100 on those, which is, really not that much. I don't know, crab meal. Let's talk about the crab meal. A lot of people like to use it. It's a medium of the road. It's a 520. Shrimp meal 660. 3 to 12 months on it, depending on where it came from. Chicken manure is 1.1 and a 0.8, 0.5 on the layer houses. 3 to 12 months, depending on it also. So one thing about, and I don't get really excited about a lot of phosphorus, is phosphorus usually does not deteriorate in plants. You have to plant several years to use up all the phosphorus that you apply to the ground. One reason you see lawn fertilizer now without that, or a very low middle number on the P, is because of the phosphorus buildup that we have in our lawns and a lot of the fields, because for years everybody grabbed the 10-10-10 or the 14-14-14 and what we like to say triple 14, triple 19, and the plant does not require that much on phosphorus. We talked about now the majors. Let's talk a little bit about minor elements. You can buy minor elements to add to your soil if you're making your own, and they've actually got those all put together. Most fertilizers do come with these already in it. If it's a commercial fertilizer, you do not get this in most of your organic fertilizers. But just to give you some of the trace elements, and there's several more, but some of the major ones is boron. It's necessary for calcium to perform its functions in plant. We've talked about why we put calcium and when we're planting tomatoes to keep blossom end rot. But if the boron's not present there, the calcium won't function like it should. Copper, again, very minute parts of copper, but all plants, even you, need copper. Iron, we know what the iron deficiency is, so that's also part of it. Magnesium, molybdenum, zinc. These are just a few of the trace elements that we need to make sure those plants are working out perfect. And but you get the optimum fruit, the optimum growth out of your raised beds or your row garden or your pot garden, whichever one may be the one that you're growing. So just to give you a quick overview, this is something you can do a little research on. Start noticing your NPK, the numbers on the bag of the fertilizer. Also, it will give it to you on your organic fertilizers. If it's sold as a fertilizer, especially here in North Carolina, it has to display the NPK. You'll notice the parts. Go through, and if you're doing, say you've got 6 different vegetables you're growing in your raised bed, look up and see what the nitrogen requirements are for that plant, what the phosphorus requirements are, what the potassium is. It helps you tune into that garden. That plant stays happy. A healthy plant usually doesn't pick up disease, and believe it or not, it really does help them to resist pests. So this is just a couple things that you might want to think of. Now, if you get a chance to, we'd love for you to go to our webpage, that's daddypeach.com, and look on our front page. We're going to have all of our podcasts will be archived if you're looking for a certain thing. Hopefully, if it's not there, it'll be there in the next few weeks. Click on it. Join us on our podcast. We'd love to have you join us. Also, look on the page while you're around. We do send out an email about gardening per each month. Please click that, put your email in, join that. You also, while you're on the page, look at our different products, go through, and it tells a little bit about them. And don't miss our About Us. We're been around since 1907. We're a century farm here in North Carolina. I think you'll find it very interesting what we do. So that's it for today, and I will see you the next time on Gardening with Daddy Pete.